Hi everybody, my name is Georgina Kirsten and I am an author. And today I'm talking about gatekeeping in self-publishing. Child, I've tried to do this video so many times, got interrupted, got the train in the background. So if you're a train in the background, sorry. But, okay. So let me level with you. They are 3 levels of authors in publishing. You got your self-published authors who got their books on bookshelves, got their shit on Amazon, got an Amazon page. They are authors. Hello. And then you have free content authors. You got your Wattpadders, you got your Radish people, you got your Inkit people. Hello. And then you have underneath, at the very bottom, is fan fiction. And you got your AO3, you got your fanfiction.net, you got your Asian stories, whatever.com. Hello. So you have all of these. You have these 3 tiers of self-publishing. And again, first tier of self-publishing often sneers down and calls, oh, it's not real. It's not real stories. It's not real books. Free content creators, when it is real books and it is real stories, because we live in a capitalist world, and in a capitalist world, your only value is how much money you're pulling in, and if you're not pulling in money, your stories are not seen as valuable. So what we have is first tier self-publishing authors shitting on everybody else because they think they're better, because they think they're better because they're getting that paper. That's a problem. I have a big fucking problem with that, because guess what? Some of the most talented authors, some of the most talented people who pen to paper are the motherfuckers on the second and third level, but they don't get the they don't get the respect that they deserve because they're not getting that paper. And I am fucking tired of it. So today I'm going to be ranting about this. I did a live about this. You can find this on my IGTV, on my Instagram. If you're not following me, you should be, because I got a lot of great content. I'm not doing IGTV anymore because I'm doing YouTube. And honestly, I already had thrown my lives up there anyway, so it's just double dosing. Anyway, so the shit that free creators get. Free creators are often get their rights taken away, or they get shitty deals. Wattpad is notorious for being a haven for plagiarists who basically steal other people's shit and throw it up on Wattpad for kudos and for clout. So we got that. And then, Wattpad also fucks with authors' rights, and there's a whole thing about how much rights do Wattpad authors get versus Wattpad themselves. And that's a whole fight, not only with Wattpad, but with all other free books, free writing platforms. So you got, and then you get that they can't afford, even if they are plagiarized by a big name author, which happened this year. It happened this year, and it was a pretty big author who did this year. They can't go and get some lawyers and go to court and get any or sort of justice, because they can't afford it. Because again, if they could afford to pay for a lawyer, they wouldn't be on Wattpad. They wouldn't be on Inkit. And again, instead of opening the doors to these people, because they're often marginalized authors from marginalized groups. They're either disabled, or they're Black, Indigenous people of color, or they're queer, or they're trans, or they're non-binary. These people are the ones who are putting the majority of the free content out there, and they're not protected. And we should be trying to be opening our doors to them. And by the way, what is considered free content? Because if they're supported on Patreon, doesn't that make it free content? Doesn't make it, actually, sorry, let me back that up. If they're supported on Patreon, doesn't it make it paid content? Also, well, it's not as polished as, normal books. But honey, a lot of self-published authors are getting this shit better read by their friends or their moms or their dads or, their partners. They're not necessarily paying all that money. I've seen some really horrible shit on Kindle Unlimited. So, but they get the title of published author, but these people who are doing free, books that are not on Amazon are not authors. Also, again, my biggest example of how fucked up that is the Untamed novel. The Untamed Chinese drama that's on Netflix, and you should totally check it out. It will ruin you. It will wreck your world. The Untamed novel, which the official name is The Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation. And I'm not saying the Chinese name because I know I'm going to butcher it. But that book is 115 chapters. And it is by far just as good as Harry Potter, just as good as Game of Thrones, just as good as Lord of the Rings. It has the scope and the scale and the world building and the word usage that it has, even in English translation, in the original English translation that's on that's free on the internet, that the author has offered for free, Patreon supported, but also free, but yet it doesn't get that same respect because it's free. We should be giving panels, and that the author of the Untamed novel should be on these panels. They should get the same respect as these, traditionally published authors. Because again, there is such a sort of weird mindset that it has to be paid to be respected, and that's bullshit. We write this. I wrote my free story, Crave, the same way I'm writing my not so free bipartisan fair novel. I outlined it the same way. I put it on Scrivener the same way. The only difference is the format and where I'm publishing it at and where it's going to be at. Although third draft of the bipartisan fair will be free and available for people who want to read it. But still, it's the same. For my fan fiction, Playing Hero, I outlined it, the shit that I learned how to write, and I solidified my own writing process through Playing Hero. I outlined it the same. I did the chapter by chapter outlines the same. I did the world building and development of that story the same. The only difference is that it's fan fiction. Yet, again, if you don't have a physical book on the shelves, if you don't have an Amazon link, if you don't have a Goodreads link, you are seen as lesser, and that's bullshit. And they don't have the same protections, and we should be protecting them. The RWA, the Romance Writers of America, has done some work since the new election in March. I'm not going to shade them for that. They've done a lot of good work. However, they'll protect. You can join and be a member if you're not a published author, but you won't get the same level of protections as a published author if you're a free content creator. You just won't. You won't get access to lawyers. You won't get advocation. I don't see the Romance Writers of America going after Wattpad. They never will, because it's not seen as a professional platform. That is bullshit. There's some people who make their fucking living by Patreon, dropping free content, but on Patreon, and they don't get no support. We need to change the definition of what is thought to be professional books, published books. We need to. It needs to be discussed. We got to open our doors. We got to give them seats at the table. And it aggravates me that we still don't. And let me talk about fan fiction. Fan fiction, for me, it has a special place in my heart. I've been in fan fiction since 2004. I've gotten my start. My first finished book was Plain Hero, which was a fan fiction book. I love fan fiction. I met my partner through fan fiction. I met my best friends through fan fiction. Fan fiction is a great community. It has its toxic points, but for the most part, I have been more thankful for the time that I have for fan fiction and been in fan fiction and fandom communities than any other place, because it has shaped me as a person. And the shit that authors give to fan fiction people, especially traditional published authors, irritates me and pisses me off. I can talk all day about Anne Rice, and I'm going to go after her. It's going to be for Patreon, but I'm going after her ass. It's not this. You should make your own stuff. I say, these people are taking these stories that you fucked up, or you forgot about, or you didn't quite think about it that way, took those stories and made gold out of them. Biggest example would be Harry Potter. There is a Harry Potter fic today. It's called The Sacrifice Arc by Lightning and the Wave, and it basically whips JKR's ass like it was a redheaded stepchild. It is phenomenal, and it's just as thick, and it has just as much world building, or more world building and nuance than the original books. And I can say that it deserves a place on my bookshelves. I wish I could print out those books and put them on my bookshelves, because they're that good. And and the author who wrote them deserves as much respect as the people who are getting paid for these books and getting these books on these shelves. We really need to we've kind of evolved over time thinking about what is, real books versus, because there's always, is ebooks real books? Is audiobooks real books? Is anything in between real books? It is. At the end of the day, a book is a story. And if you're telling a story, it's a book. Stop with the gatekeeping. Just stop it. And to go further, because I got some calls to actions. I always try to leave my videos with some calls to actions. Number one call to action is to amplify free content creators. They are struggling as it is. They need to be amplified so they can get more readers. I don't care if you don't read that book. You don't have to. Just retweet that shit. Reshare it. Pin that pin on Pinterest. Amplify free content creators. They will thank you for it. And you know what? You might make a new friend doing that. I made a lot of friends amplifying other people's stuff. But it's just do it because it's the right thing to do, though. Because it's the right thing to do, is to give them, that's the best way to give them a chair at the table, give them a space at the table. So do that. Another good place to do, thing to do, can't speak today. Another good thing to do is financially support them. If they got a Ko-Fi, if they got a Patreon, if they got a PayPal link, if they got a Cash App, give them money. I guarantee you they will do more stuff that you love if they don't have to worry where they're going to get their next meal. And that's not just for me, because you should support me on Patreon, which is the link in the description, but support all authors, support all artists. Our artists deserve to be supported because art is such a fundamental part of our society. We will be a lesser species without art. So support art, all art. No matter if it's the books that you're buying at Walmart or the free content creators who are putting their blood, sweat, and tears on a page for free. Do that. And finally, because I got my handy dandy notebook, there is a plagiarism problem going on in publishing. The people that are taking advantage of the most are fan fiction creators because they have no legal recourse to go after them, because fan fiction is still a legal gray area. So if you see an author fucking ripping off a fan fiction, call that shit out. Report them to Amazon. Put that in the reviews, because they deserve to be dragged as much as they possibly can, because they know they can get away with that shit, because again, fan fiction is still seen as a legal gray area, even though we have fair use. And the OTW, which is the Organization for Transformative, wait a minute, let me do that again, which is the Organization for Transformative Works, has done great advocacy in the Western world about fan fiction and copyright usage. And there's been some crackdowns on that in the last year. I know there was a law that was passed that is cracking down on copyright and what copyright is. You need to call this shit out. It's predatory. It's not right. It's bullying as well, because you're bullying someone who with lesser. You're going after someone with lesser power. So call that shit out when you see it. Drag them, report them, do what you got to do. If you see something, say something. That goes for not for this, but for all points of allyship and activism. And that's what I have to say, is you have to support everybody who's doing self-publishing, not just the top tier. Because I'm tired of this gatekeeping bullshit. Now, if you like this video, please go ahead and subscribe, hit that bell button, because you'll get notified every time I do these videos. And there's many ways you can support me, because I said support artists, and I'm an artist in many ways. You can support me for free by subscribing to my newsletter. The link will also be in the bio. You can also become a patron. My patrons get called out on here. They also get called out on my lives. And I want to get a special shout out when talking about patrons with Claire Ryan. Hi, Claire. Claire is an awesome writer, an awesome journalist, and a web developer. And they are my second $10 or more patrons, which are called Highness patrons. So I want to give a special thanks to them. And just, again, the last words I want to leave for you is support support all artists. Thank you. And no, I'm not editing this. Don't ask me, because I'm just not going to do it. I'm stuck at video editing, and I have a hard time at it. So I'm just going to throw it up the way that it is. Take it or leave it. And I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.